Italy's president stepped into the Foro Italico, carrying a message and a gift that caught everyone off guard. Sergio Mattarella, a man who has lived through countless World Cups, Olympics, and the highs and lows of Italian athletics, was in Rome that day for something unique. On this particular afternoon, the 84-year-old leader wasn't there to support a local player. He was there for Alex Eala, the Philippine tennis sensation, still healing from the ankle injury that cut her run short, sat in the royal box as he approached. Every camera zoomed in. The stadium fell silent, collectively holding its breath. When Mattarella made his move, it felt like even the ancient marble statues around the arena were leaning in to listen. Rome, Italy, May 10th, 2026. The central stadium at Foro Italico was the beating heart of the most anticipated Italian Open weekend. Semi-finals were in full swing, and the iconic venue, decorated with classical marble figures, was packed to the rafters. The crowd was a massive sea of Italian flags, broken only by small pockets of foreign colors, as anticipation for this historic afternoon rippled through the stands. True tennis royalty filled the royal box. Former stars, tournament bosses, and high-ranking officials from all over Europe watched from high above the clay. Yet, the most important guest of the day arrived without any noise. Sergio Mattarella, the 84-year-old president of Italy, had accepted a special invitation from the nation's winning Davis Cup and Billie Jean King Cup teams to join them. Only days before, he hosted the country's best at the Quirin Palace, meeting stars like John Nixon and other icons. In that meeting, Mattarella was humble, downplaying any idea that he was a symbol of luck. "I don't want to be seen as some kind of lucky charm because I'm simply not one," he said. "But our players, both men and women, give us every reason to watch this Italian Open with deep and renewed confidence." Now, he sat at the very front of the royal box, surrounded by guards and officials, watching the game with the sharp focus of a man who has seen history play out for decades. The mood was serious and dignified as the tournament reached its most critical, high-stakes matches. Then, during a quick changeover, something caught his eye. Across the royal box, partially hidden by a marble pillar, sat a young woman with a heavily bandaged ankle. She wasn't being featured on any of the stadium screens. Nobody was announcing her name, but the flags held by those around her, red, white, and blue, told a different story. They were Philippine flags. Mattarella turned and leaned toward a nearby official to ask a question. "Who is that?" he asked. The official whispered back. "That is Alex Eala, Mr. President. She is a rising star from the Philippines. She had to pull out of the matches after hurting her ankle." Mattarella just gave a slow nod. He knew who she was. In fact, the whole city knew her name, not as a local, but as the athlete who shifted the entire energy of the stadium. Philippine flags were popping up all over Rome in numbers rarely seen for any visiting tennis player. Her name was being chanted in the stands, echoing off the marble and filling the arena with a raw energy that the city hadn't felt in years. This 20-year-old, so far from home, had turned a foreign event into what felt like a local homecoming. "I'd like to meet her," the president said softly. Without a word, Italy's leader stood up. The royal box fell into a heavy silence as everyone noticed the sudden, unexpected movement. It was a quiet gesture, but in that high-stakes room, every single move was loaded with meaning. He didn't announce what he was doing. He didn't wait for the usual protocol or formal ceremony. But in that split second, everything changed. Every eye in the box began to follow his path. Alex Eala had no clue he was coming. His security team instantly went on high alert. Officials looked worried. On the live feed, cameras moved away from the court action and panned straight up toward the royal box. Sergio Mattarella began his walk. He moved right past the exclusive seating areas and VIP guests, walking past the officials and the statues of Italian legends that lined the walls of the grand corridor. Step by step, he headed for the back section, toward the young girl partially hidden behind a marble pillar, her bandaged ankle clearly visible to everyone. Alex looked up. Her eyes went wide as she realized who was walking toward her. Throughout the arena, the Philippine flags held by fans who followed her journey through every high and low seemed to vibrate with energy, as if the crowd knew history was being made. The chant that defined her time in Rome started up again, soft at first, before swelling in volume and echoing through the historic Foro Italico. Mattarella stopped before her and held out his hand. "Miss Alex Eala," he said, "it is a great honor to meet you." Still stunned by the moment, she reached out and took his hand. "The honor is all mine, Mr. President," she replied. The air felt heavy with importance. Even the commentators fell silent, as the broadcast captured the sheer weight of the encounter. Play continued on the court behind them, but every eye in the stadium had shifted far away from the baseline action. Even Pope Francis had once praised the spirit and deep devotion of Filipino communities during his many travels around the world. But here in Rome, the Italian president himself stood face to face with the rising tennis star from the Philippines. For a heartbeat, the tournament and the city itself seemed to freeze around them. "I have been watching you," Sergio Mattarella said calmly. "Not just today, but throughout this entire tournament. The way your fans show up for you is remarkable. It is moving," he said, pausing with a steady gaze. "Italy is proud to have hosted you. We truly hope you will return." The president had walked across the royal box, ignoring strict protocol, just to shake the hand of young Alex Eala. He acknowledged her journey and the incredible emotional wave she and her supporters brought into the historic Foro Italico. Then, without warning, he made an announcement that absolutely no one in the stadium saw coming. No prepared statement, no whispering to advisors, just a steady, measured voice speaking directly into the waiting cameras. "The Italian Republic recognizes rare contributions to sport, to our culture, and to the bridges built between nations," he declared. "It is rare for one athlete to embody all three," he added, turning slightly toward the live television cameras. The stadium, still buzzing with distant noise, suddenly felt frozen in silence. Even the veteran commentators stopped their play-by-play. "The tennis match continues," he added, "but today, something more important is being honored." His voice remained steady but definitive. "Alex Eala has brought something truly special to Rome this week. Not just her extraordinary tennis, but her spirit, her resilience, and the powerful way her people and her country have supported her every step." A brief pause followed the kind of silence that makes time stand still. "Therefore," he concluded, "I am pleased to announce that Alexandra Eala will receive the Order of the Star of Italy. It is the highest honor the Italian Republic can bestow on a foreign national." The entire stadium gasped. This was no routine award. It was something far larger, an event the Foro Italico had never witnessed in a tennis context before. Alex stood frozen, clearly trying to process the news. The Order of the Star of Italy is never given out lightly. It is rarely awarded, and it has never been linked to a tennis player in this specific way before. To understand this moment, you must understand the honor itself. The Order of the Star of Italy is a prestigious civilian distinction from the Italian Republic. It ranks just below the highest. This order of merit is reserved for those who have strengthened Italy's deep connection with the rest of the world. It was originally founded in 1947 as the Order of the Star of Italian Solidarity. It was created after World War II to honor those who helped rebuild Italy and support its national recovery. In 2011, President Giorgio Napolitano reformed the award, shifting its focus from post-war rebuilding to something more contemporary. It now celebrates Italy's cultural presence, international relationships, and growing global prestige in the modern era. The award is personally given by the President of the Republic after consultation with the Council of the Order. It honors foreigners who have made massive contributions to strengthening ties with Italy. That is why this moment carried so much weight. Alex Eala did not achieve this through politics or diplomacy, but through something far more universal, the world of sport. Through competition, resilience, and her presence, she became a living bridge between two very different cultures. Her matches drew some of the largest non-Italian crowds the Italian Open had witnessed in many years. Sections of the stadium were transformed into a sea of Philippine flags and pure international energy. This was more than popularity. It was visibility. It was connection. In that sense, the president's words reframed everything inside the Foro Italico. This was no longer just a tennis story, but a profound cultural exchange unfolding in real time. Within hours of the announcement, the news spread far beyond the stadium. Back in the Philippines, it broke like a national moment. TV networks interrupted their schedules. News tickers lit up across every major outlet with one single, repeating headline. Social media explodes as Alex Eala receives Italy's top civilian honor. Reaction was instant. Floods of pride and disbelief took over timelines, sparking an emotional celebration across the entire country. This wasn't just tennis anymore. It was about identity, visibility, and finally being recognized on a global stage. From Manila to Rome, one post said it best. From a Rafa Nadal Academy scholarship to an honor from the President of Italy, she proves that dreams have no borders. Alex Eala hadn't won the tournament. In fact, she couldn't even finish it because of an injury. But to her fans, something much bigger had taken place. She shifted the very mood of Rome, changing how Italy perceived the Philippines, if only for a fleeting, beautiful moment. The Philippine embassy in Rome released a statement, expressing deep gratitude for such prestigious and unexpected recognition. Manila's Department of Foreign Affairs followed suit, thanking President Mattarella and the Italian people for what they called an extraordinary and beautiful gesture of friendship between two nations. In Rome, the press shifted focus to the raw, emotional aftermath. Finally, the cameras tracked down her family in the stands. Her mother, Ria, sitting right there when the president approached, was asked to describe her feelings. She paused for a long moment, clearly overwhelmed. "I have no words," she whispered through tears. "Truly, I am just a mother. I only wanted her to be happy. I never imagined this." Alex Eala herself didn't speak to the press right after the big announcement. She was still processing everything that happened. That bracelet from Roger Federer stayed on her wrist, a silent reminder of just how far this journey had gone. President Mattarella's words echoed in her mind, repeating in broken pieces she couldn't quite put together yet. That night, she posted one image to her Instagram story, a shot of the Roman sky from her hotel window. Underneath, a simple caption appeared. "I came to Rome for tennis. I'm leaving with something I never could have imagined. Grazie, Italy. Mahalko. Thank you, Italy, I love you." No press conference, no long speech, just that. Over the next few hours, the weight of the moment began to settle across two nations and far beyond. Mattarella didn't give her the Order of the Star of Italy just for winning a tournament. She hadn't. Her run ended early in round 3, her ankle wrapped tight, her progress cut short by injury. Looking strictly at the sport, her campaign ended well before the final stages. But this award wasn't about the scoreboard. It was about exactly what she represented. She stood for the power of connection across borders, across different cultures, and across languages. She showed that sport isn't just competition, it's a shared human language that carries emotion beyond national lines. She represented the Filipino diaspora, millions working far from home, often unseen and unheard, yet still fiercely holding on to their identity. There in Rome, for one brief and unforgettable moment, they were finally seen. The Philippine flags filling the Foro Italico weren't just symbols of fans. They were much more. They signaled a presence. Chants for Alex echoed off ancient marble statues, collapsing centuries of history into one modern, powerful moment. Somewhere in that energy, the Italian president took notice. Not of a victory, but of an impact. "Italy is proud to have hosted you. We hope you return," Mattarella had told her. But the truth, as people realized later, ran deeper. Italy wasn't just proud to have finally hosted her. The country was changed by her. That Order of the Star of Italy, rare and deeply symbolic, was never a reward for winning matches. It was a recognition of something harder to measure, but far more enduring. It recognized an athlete's power to turn a tournament into a bridge between nations. No player in the history of the Italian Open, winner or loser, whether champion or journeyman, has ever made the kind of impact Alex Eala achieved in 1 week on the red clay. The question now is simple but heavy. Will she return to Rome next year to compete? Or will she return as something even bigger than that? A symbol. A living bridge between nations separated by 11,000 kilometers, yet united by a 20-year-old with a racket, a dream, and a following that changed a stadium. Share your thoughts below, and subscribe to Court Legacy for more stories that go way beyond the scoreboard. This moment has already been etched into Italian Open history. Sergio Mattarella made a surprise appearance, walking across the royal box to personally greet Alex. The 84-year-old head of state had just met Italy's championship teams at the palace, yet he chose this clay court stage to make a very different kind of statement. Word has spread. The Filipina tennis sensation would receive the Order of the Star of Italy, the second highest civilian honor the Italian Republic can bestow upon a foreign national. Born in its modern form in 2011, the award honors those who bridge nations, building deep cultural bonds and international ties with Italy. With this, Eala became the first tennis athlete ever awarded the honor, right after a heartbreaking exit from the tournament. A grade 2 ankle sprain forced her out of the third-round match against world number 2, Elena Rybakina. But this massive recognition was never just about a score on some digital board. It was about something far less measurable and far more enduring: the literal sea of blue and red flags that filled the Foro Italico. It was about the rhythmic chants echoing through the marble statues of those ancient athletes. It was about how one athlete transformed a simple tennis tournament into a shared emotional bridge between two nations. Ultimately, it proved that this sport at its peak is not just about competition, it is about deep human connection.